Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we're diving into a story that at first glance might seem like just another rumor. But when you unpack it, it reveals a lot about the current landscape of the NHL, especially for the Montreal Canadiens. And yes, you heard it right. There's no indication that Sidney Crosby, the legendary captain of the Pittsburgh Penguins, is heading anywhere, certainly not to the Canadiens. But the fact that this rumor keeps resurfacing is what makes it so interesting, and it's worth analyzing what it means for the division, for the league, and most importantly for the Habs. Let's start with the background. Pat Brisson, who's been a prominent agent in the NHL for years, recently had a statement that stirred the pot. He openly acknowledged that a trade involving Crosby could be on the table. Now, imagine the shockwaves that sent through the hockey world, especially among Penguins fans and the entire Atlantic Division. Crosby, after all, is not just a player. He's an icon, a franchise cornerstone, and arguably one of the greatest players of this era. So, hearing that his agent hints at the possibility of a trade, well, it's enough to get any hockey fan curious. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Crosby himself, in a rare move, came out and clearly stated his desire to stay with Pittsburgh. He expressed frustration over the persistent trade speculation, which, let's be honest, has been a recurring theme since last year. And it's not just idle chatter, it's been fueled by reports, by rumors, and by the media's constant fascination with whether Crosby might be ready for a new chapter elsewhere. Yet, despite these rumors, Crosby remains loyal. His commitment to the Penguins is unwavering, and he's made that very clear. Now, why does this matter so much to Montreal Canadiens fans? Well, because this entire saga ties into the broader context of the league's dynamics right now. Crosby is a player who, even at this stage of his career, continues to influence the league, not just with his on-ice skills, but with his leadership and the cultural impact he carries. The question many fans have asked is, if he ever did push for a trade, would Montreal be a plausible destination? And honestly, the answer is probably not. The Canadiens are building something promising, especially with young talent like Owen Beck, who is rapidly gaining attention. But Crosby, he's a different level, an all-time great, whose loyalty and legacy are deeply tied to Pittsburgh. It's important to note that the rumors about Crosby to Montreal have been floating around for some time, especially during the offseason. There was a particular moment that caught a lot of people off guard, an erroneous report suggesting that Crosby was actively pursuing a trade to the Colorado Avalanche. The timing couldn't have been more awkward. Crosby was actually attending Nathan MacKinnon's bachelor party when that false report went viral. MacKinnon, who's another superstar and a key player for the Avalanche, was quick to shut down the rumor-breaking character on social media to tell fans it was fake news. That little incident not only showed how quickly misinformation can spread in today's digital age, but also highlighted how tightly knit the hockey community still is, especially among players who respect each other deeply. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on Crosby's actual impact. It's easy to get caught up in the speculation, but the truth is, Crosby is more than just a player. He's a symbol of consistency, dedication, and excellence in hockey. Since entering the league, he's been a model of professionalism, and his influence on the Penguins and the league at large is undeniable. He's a three-time Stanley Cup champion, a multiple-time MVP, and has been the face of the NHL for nearly 2 decades. So the idea that he might leave Pittsburgh, especially for a team like Montreal, which is still in the process of rebuilding and finding its identity after some tough seasons, seems almost unfathomable. But here's something that fans should keep in mind. Crosby's loyalty runs deep, rooted not just in the franchise, but also in personal reverence for the people who helped shape his career. Mario Lemieux, the legendary owner and former player, is one of Crosby's greatest idols. Lemieux saw potential in Crosby from the moment he drafted him and mentored him through the early, challenging years of his career. From 2005 to 2010, Crosby even lived with Lemia and his family in Sewickley, Pennsylvania, during a formative period that helped him adjust to the demands of professional hockey. That bond, that mentorship, is something that Crosby has spoken about often, and it's one of the reasons he's so committed to Pittsburgh. Now, for Montreal fans, I know many of you might be dreaming of a blockbuster trade, of bringing in a player of Crosby's caliber. And honestly, who would? The idea of adding a player with his talent, his leadership, and his experience would be a game changer. But we have to be realistic. The probability of Crosby leaving Pittsburgh for Montreal is practically zero, at least for this stage of his career. The rumors, the speculation, they're just that, speculation. Crosby's loyalty is genuine, and his focus remains on helping the Penguins compete, especially as they try to rebuild and find their way back into the playoff picture after some tough seasons. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the Montreal Canadiens themselves. While Crosby's departure isn't on the horizon, the Canadiens are quietly building a promising future, and Owen Beck is at the forefront of this new wave. This 21-year-old forward, who spent most of last season with the Laval Rocket in the AHL, has shown flashes of brilliance that have caught the attention of scouts and fans alike. In the AHL, Beck scored 15 goals and added 29 assists in 64 games, a solid contribution that indicates he's developing well. And he saw some NHL action too, 12 games with Montreal, where he registered a single assist. Not eye-popping numbers, but enough to prove that he's getting comfortable at the top level. What really caught people's attention, though, was Beck's performance in the Canadiens' preseason game against the Penguins, an ironic twist, considering the rumors swirling about Crosby. In that game, Beck scored a crucial equalizer with just 2:36 remaining in regulation, battling persistently to redirect a rebound into the net. That kind of tenacity, that fighting spirit, is exactly what the Canadiens need to build around. It's the kind of performance that scouts look for, that fans get excited about, and that suggests Beck could be a vital piece of Montreal's future. This development is significant because it shows that Montreal is not just relying on old stars or big-name free agents to turn things around. They're investing in their youth, trusting their prospects, and giving them opportunities to shine on the big stage. Beck's emergence is a testament to that strategy. It's also a reminder that while the NHL may be filled with rumors about legendary players and blockbuster trades, the real story is often in the young talent coming up through the ranks. Those players who are hungry, eager to prove themselves, and ready to carry their teams into a new era. And speaking of that new era, Montreal's management has been very clear about their focus on building a sustainable, competitive team. They know they can't just rely on one or two stars. They need depth, they need young talent, and they need players like Owen Beck to step up and become leaders in their own right. The preseason performance, especially that clutch goal, is a sign that Montreal's future might be brighter than some expect. The team's core is still developing, and with players like Beck showing resilience, there's a lot of hope among the fanbase that this team is on the right track. Now I want to circle back to the importance of realistic expectations. Rumors will always swirl, especially around big names like Crosby. But as fans, we have to remember that the league is a complex ecosystem of relationships, commitments, and personal loyalties. Crosby's story with Pittsburgh is still being written, and at least for now, he's committed to the Penguins. For Montreal, the focus should remain on nurturing their young players, building a team that can compete in the coming seasons, and maybe, just maybe, dreaming of more moments like Beck's recent goal. Moments that inspire hope and show that the future is bright, even if it's not filled with the names we sometimes wish for. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all of this? Do you believe Crosby will stay loyal to Pittsburgh, or could there be a surprise in store down the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and more of everything you love about the Canadiens. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Habs.